Section 1. The First Peoples. An introduction. The Americas are home to hundreds of nations. These are the indigenous peoples. They are the first peoples of this land. They were here for thousands of years before any ships came from Europe. Their histories are written on the mountains, rivers, plains of these continents. They are not a single group of people. Instead, they are a vast collection of distinct nations. Each nation has its own unique story. Each has its own language. Each has its own government. Each has its own sacred traditions that guide life. These are the original inhabitants of North America, Central America, South America. In the United States alone, there are more than 574 federally recognized tribal nations. This number does not even include the many state-recognized tribes or the countless other indigenous communities that are not formally recognized by the government. Across Canada, Mexico, and all the way to the southern tip of South America, there are hundreds more. Each one represents a sovereign people with a deep, complex history. To understand this is to understand that the Americas have always been a place of many cultures and many languages, long before modern countries were formed. The connection to the land is a core part of indigenous identity. For countless generations, these peoples lived in balance with their environments. They developed sophisticated systems of agriculture, science, and philosophy. They understood the seasons and the stars. Their homes were built from the materials the land provided, from the great longhouses of the northeast forests to the adobe pueblos of the desert southwest. This relationship is not just about survival. It is a spiritual and cultural bond. The land is not a resource to be owned. It is a relative to be respected and cared for. This ancient presence is felt everywhere. It is in the names of our rivers, states, and cities. It is in the foods we eat, like corn, potatoes, tomatoes, which were first cultivated by indigenous farmers. Before the arrival of Europeans, these lands were not an empty wilderness. They were a network of nations, trade routes, and communities. They were filled with art, music, and complex societies. Recognizing this truth is the first step. Section 2. A Tapestry of Nations, the Northeast and the Plains. In the woodlands of the Northeast, powerful confederacies formed. The Haudenosaunee, also known as the Iroquois Confederacy, is a clear example. Mohawk Oneida Onondaga Cayuga, Seneca Tuscarora. They created a great law of peace, a constitution that established a democratic council to make decisions and resolve conflicts. This system of government was so advanced that it influenced the founders of the United States. The Haudenosaunee lived in large wooden homes called longhouses. Multiple families from the same clan lived together. They were skilled farmers who cultivated the three sisters. Corn beans squash. Far from the eastern forests, the Great Plains stretch across the heart of the continent. This vast grassland was home to many distinct peoples. Cheyenne, Comanche. The lives of the Plains nations were deeply connected to the American bison, or buffalo. The buffalo provided everything they needed. Its meat was food. Its hide was used for clothing and shelter like teepees. Its bones were shaped into tools and weapons. Life on the plains was transformed by the arrival of the horse, brought by the Spanish. Horses allowed for more efficient hunting and travel, leading to the rise of powerful and mobile nations. The Plains peoples developed complex social and political structures. The Cheyenne, for example, had a council of 44 chiefs who governed the nation. They also had warrior societies that played important roles in defense and community life. Their spiritual traditions were rich. Ceremonies like the sun dance renewed the world and the people's connection to the Creator. The art of the Plains is famous for its beautiful beadwork, painted hides, stories of battles, stories of hunts, important personal histories. These were not simple, nomadic groups. They were highly organized societies with deep roots in their land. Other nations also called the Plains home, each with its own traditions. Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, often known collectively as the Sioux. Section 3. Lands of Sun and Sea. The Southwest and Northwest Coast. The American Southwest is a land of dramatic mesas and arid deserts. Here, peoples like the Haudenosaunee built remarkable communities that have lasted for centuries. The Hopi have lived on their mesas in present-day Arizona for more than 1,000 years, making them one of the oldest continuously inhabited communities in North America. They are master dryland farmers able to grow corn beans squash in a challenging climate. Their villages are made of stone and adobe brick multi-story structures that rise from the desert floor. Hopi life is guided by a complex ceremonial calendar, honoring their connection to the land and the spirit world. Other nations in the Southwest developed different ways of living. Apache groups were more mobile. Diné, Navajo, were more mobile. Apache were skilled hunters, raiders with incredible endurance and deep knowledge of rugged terrain. The Diné, who are now the largest tribal nation in the United States by population, became expert sheep herders and weavers after the Spanish introduced sheep. Their woven rugs are world-renowned for intricate designs and beautiful colors. The art of the Southwest, from Pueblo pottery to Diné sand paintings, reflects the deep spiritual beliefs and the stunning landscapes of the region. Traveling far to the north, we find the lush, rainy coast of the Pacific Northwest. Nations like the Haida, the Tlingit, the Kwakwaka'wakw, Kwakiutl. These peoples thrived on the abundance of the sea and the rivers. Salmon was the foundation of their diet and their culture, and they became expert fishermen. They lived in massive cedar plank houses, which were large enough to shelter an entire extended family. Their society was highly structured, organized into clans that traced their lineage back to mythical ancestors. Status and wealth were important, and they were displayed through elaborate ceremonies called potlatches. The art of the Northwest Coast is one of the most distinctive in the world. These nations are famous for their monumental totem poles carved from giant cedar trees. These poles are not objects of worship. They are historical documents that tell the story of a family's lineage rites and important events. The art style, with its bold lines and depictions of animals like the raven eagle and bear, is also found on masks, boxes, and canoes. The story of indigenous America does not stop at the borders of the United States. The entire hemisphere is indigenous land. In the vast subarctic and Arctic regions of what is now Canada and Alaska, Inuit the Diné developed incredible skills for surviving in one of the world's harshest climates. They hunted seal, caribou, whale using every part of the animal. In the southeast, Cherokee, Choctaw, Seminole built large towns with complex political systems. The Cherokee, for example, had a written language created by Sequoyah, and a formal constitution modeled after that of the United States. Further south, in the lands that became Mexico and Central America, great civilizations rose and fell long before European contact. Maya developed a sophisticated writing system, an incredibly accurate calendar built stunning temple cities that still stand in the jungle. Their knowledge of mathematics and astronomy was far ahead of its time. The Aztec built their magnificent capital city, Tenochtitlan, on an island in a lake, with a population larger than any European city of that era. Today, millions of descendants of the Maya, Nahua, Zapotec, and other peoples continue to live in the region, speaking their ancestral languages and practicing their traditions. South America is also home to a staggering diversity of indigenous nations. In the Andes Mountains, the Quechua Aymara are descendants of the Inca Empire, which built an astonishing network of roads and cities across the rugged peaks. They domesticated the potato llama. Their weaving traditions carry on ancient patterns and stories. In the vast Amazon rainforest, hundreds of distinct groups have lived for millennia. Yanomami Kayapo. They possess an encyclopedic knowledge of medicinal plants and the complex ecosystem of the forest, a knowledge base that is now recognized as a priceless global treasure. Across these vast continents, indigenous peoples formed powerful nations and confederacies. These were not just loose collections of tribes. They were formal political entities that engaged in diplomacy, trade, and mutual defense. They had laws, councils, and leaders who governed their people with wisdom. The Arawak-Carib peoples of the Caribbean islands formed extensive trade networks that connected islands across the sea. These systems of government and cooperation demonstrate a deep history of political thought and social organization, a history that is an essential part of the story of the Americas. The period after 1506 brought devastation to the indigenous peoples of the Americas. The arrival of Europeans introduced diseases leading to a catastrophic loss of life. This was followed by centuries of warfare, broken treaties, forced removal of peoples from their ancestral lands. Children were taken from their families and sent to boarding schools, forbidden to speak their languages, forbidden to practice their cultures. This history is one of immense pain and loss, a struggle against overwhelming forces intent on erasing entire nations. Despite this, indigenous peoples have shown incredible resilience. They did not vanish. Their cultures did not die. They resisted, adapted, survived. They held on to their languages, often in secret. They passed down their sacred stories and ceremonies. They fought for their rights in courts and in the public square. This survival is deliberate, a powerful refusal to be erased, a testament to the strength of their communities and the deep meaning of their traditions. Today, there's a powerful cultural and political revival across the hemisphere. Young people learning ancestral languages, participating in traditional ceremonies. Artists creating works that blend ancient forms with modern expressions. Indigenous leaders at the forefront of environmental protection, defending lands, defending waters, essential to cultural survival and to the health of the planet. They are doctors, lawyers, teachers, scientists, bringing unique perspectives across modern life. The story of Indigenous America is not over. A living, breathing story unfolding every day. More than 574 nations and endless stories of creation, survival, renewal. These nations are a vital and enduring part of the American continents. They have shaped the past, and they are actively shaping the future. Voices growing stronger, demanding respect, justice, and the right to determine their own destinies. A future where ancient and enduring cultures continue to thrive, contributing wisdom the world needs.